And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back to Fanboy Fridays. Fanboys, we hope your day is going terrible. So, as we watch the fall of the 4 and 6 kingdom, as we watch the crumbling of the walls of the 4 and 6 mansion, and we see more and more people come out being more truthful, more honest about what they feel about LeBron James, more truthful, more honest about their experiences playing with LeBron James. I thought this would be a good article to cover. And the title of this article is coming from the Daily Coach. And it says, Michael Jordan never had to be told to play harder. And I thought it would be a good idea to cover this article because this week, the story about Dwight Howard saying that he was kicked off of the Lakers for calling LeBron James the B word. That story was going around this week, of course, coming from the Above the Rim podcast, which is Dwight Howard's podcast. And of course, on that episode, they also had Mario Chalmers, another person who had to call LeBron James the B word. And of course, in this episode, they were able to establish between the both of them that the reasoning for them having to tell LeBron James quit acting like a B is because he wasn't playing defense. He wasn't getting back on defense. And this is no surprise to anyone who has paid attention to LeBron James. This is a running theme, along with his flopping, along with his whining to the refs. Everybody knows that if you're on a LeBron James team, you better get ready to play some 4-on-5 defense. So those stories came out. Let's not forget Kyle Kuzma having to shove LeBron to play defense. But not only that, you also remember the story from Tyronn Lue, who came out and talked about the 2016 finals. Again, to me, Tyronn Lue's story about the 2016 finals takes away some of the glory from LeBron James, if there was any to begin with. Because Tyronn Lue said that, hey, I had to tell LeBron James, dude, you got to play harder if you want to win. And of course, LeBron James had major pushback to that. So this is a running theme of LeBron James not giving his all on the court. And so I thought this article on Michael Jordan saying Michael Jordan never had to be told to play harder was a great article to read on this Fanboy Friday. So again, this is coming from the Daily Coach. It says you should never have to talk to a player, employee about working harder, only working smarter. When I hear a coach scream from the sideline during the game, play harder, I cringe. I'm sure the same happens when a person in a leadership position tells the staff we have to work harder. We all know playing or working hard is required for any successful job performance. If a job applicant proclaims to you he or she will work hard if they get the job, smile and say, we all work hard. Working hard is required, like a hammer is required for any carpenter. Working hard is not a benefit or add-on. It's part of the job. Fanboys, did you hear that? Says, do you think at any point during Michael Jordan's career a coach had to tell him to play harder? Or Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, or any other highly competitive players? Of course not, because a great because great players are competitive. They understand hard work, playing with maximum effort is in their DNA. Once I asked former Bulls forward Scottie Pippen if he ever got tired, and his response, tired of what? The thought of being physically tired never entered his mind. The reason some workers/players don't demonstrate a high level of intensity is that they are not passionate about what they do, or they don't care about their overall performance. And we all know getting someone to care is impossible. But this article is so potent as far as what we're talking about in this modern NBA. Matter of fact, let's just pause right there. It says, we all know getting someone to care is impossible. And the first thing I think about, aside from the NBA in general, of course, but is the All-Star game, is the fact that, they keep trying to think of different things to do in the All-Star game. But for that matter, even in the regular season, that's why we got this ridiculous in-season tournament. They keep trying to think of ways to motivate these players to care about the All-Star game or care about the regular season. And what I said is this: true competitors don't have to be persuaded to compete. LeBron James fanboys, I know you don't want to hear it, and I know when you hear that statement, the denial automatically kicks up a notch because you are blocking that statement with every bit of mental capacity that you can muster up to not hear the truth in that statement. I'm sure when you hear that statement, all you hear is, this guy's a hater, this guy's a hater, this guy's a hater, this guy's a hater. But a real competitor, you do not have to try to persuade to compete. It's just in him. It's just what he does. And as far as talking about the All-Star game, let me tell you this. The reason All-Star games in the 90s was competitive, because I've heard of some of these modern analysts and media personalities try to underplay how competitive the 90s was and say, oh, well, they didn't play full force in the 90s and 80s. And of course not. They didn't play full force. But my goodness, they were actually competing out there. And I tell you why they were actually competing, because they were competitors and they couldn't help it. They couldn't help once they got around the so-called best players in the league, the rest of the best players in the league, all in one place. They couldn't help but go eat at each other and try to prove, yeah, I'm the best. I know, Michael Jordan being on the floor with Magic and Barkley and these different players, and Isaiah Thomas, is, that ego, that competitiveness comes out and says, oh, this is my chance to show the world, while we are all here on the same court, that I'm the one. This is what competitors do. But in this modern, friendly, politically correct NBA that everybody's afraid to step on each other's toes, everybody's so worried about their brand, but more importantly, everybody's afraid to truly be confrontational. They don't do that because they're not competitors like that. And but anyway, let's continue. It says, we all know getting someone to care is impossible. Just because people have talent does not mean they will care. It means they might fool you into thinking they care. And when the game is on the line, they fall well short. Yelling at them is a waste of time. Wow. Yeah. And this is what I've been saying. It's like, what is your motivation behind what you do? For the younger people watching my channel, what is your motivation behind what you do? If you're gonna pick a job just to make money, then do that. Because a lot of people, you got to make money in this world. You got to make money to survive and whatnot. But if you are going to be one of the people who tries to choose an occupation that you actually love and care about, if you're gonna be one of those people, make sure that you actually choose an occupation that you love and care about, that you're passionate about, because that passion will drive the hard work. That passion will drive, and I'll say, especially in the entertainment field. In the entertainment field, it is very tricky because, you know, there's two aspects of it. There's the art, and then there's the praise that comes along with it. You know, the kind of praise that can be addictive. So a lot of people that want to go down some form of entertainment, whether it's sports, you know, whether it's music, whether it's movie and acting, a lot of people who get started down those career paths, they can be driven by the fame. They can be driven by the fact that they want to be known. And again, to me, you can clearly see the difference between the people who are driven by the fact that they want to be known, like a P. Diddy, like a LeBron James, and the people who were passionate about something and had a passion for what they do, like a Tupac. You know, no matter what you think about Tupac, his music was what it was because you could hear the passion behind what he did. You could hear, you know, you could hear that what he was saying at the moment he thought was important to be said. And with Michael Jordan, you could tell when Michael Jordan played basketball, this was serious for him. Again, Michael Jordan talked about what the game of basketball did for him, while LeBron James, the duck, the deer, likes to talk about what he did for the game of basketball. Michael Jordan said basketball was his refuge. But LeBron James wants to talk about what he did for the game of basketball, and luckily for us, that retiring rumor that he put out a few years ago was untrue. Luckily for us, as he said. So yeah, your initial motivation, people, behind what you do, that is everything. And you know, if your motivation is the praise, then it doesn't matter how much talent you have, you're gonna fall short of what you could have been. And this is LeBron James in a nutshell. LeBron James had the talent. LeBron James had the athleticism. LeBron James didn't truly have the love for the game. LeBron James had the love for the praise. But anyway, says just because people have talent does not mean they will care. It means they might fool you into thinking they care, and when the game is on the line, they fall well short, aka 6 finals losses. Yelling at them is a waste of time. Over the years in player evaluation through psychological profiling, I've learned that you can change work habits, but you can never change the competitive fiber. A hard worker that never competes can be fooling. During practice time and away from the game, the player does everything needed to help the team. Once the game starts, it's over. The urge to compete, to play hard, to rise to the challenge goes away. All week, we count on this player because of her participation or her preparation. And once the live action begins, we scream for them to play harder. It won't work. Instead of yelling, play harder, consider the person might lack competitive fiber. And no matter how loud you scream, it won't matter. And it might be time to make a change. My goodness, this are people. Like I said, I've been coming to the realization that the NBA might be at a point of no return. Even when LeBron James retires, even when Adam Silver retires, because part of it is the society we live in and this entitled attitude. Nobody wants to compete. Like, forget the NBA and basketball. In general, Nobody wants to compete. We're living in the age of Kim Kardashian, where everybody think you should just be able to make money for being famous. You know, we live in social media where it's influencers who don't bring any value to anybody's lives except for, you know, being popular for meaningless reasons. This is the society we live in. So, you know, again, to me, him saying that sometimes you just have to realize that the person you're trying to motivate, they're just not competitive like that. And this is what I'm saying with the NBA. This is what I'm saying with that All-Star game. Again, once you get to the point to where you're having to try measures to motivate somebody, that lets you know you've let it go too far already. Again, to me, the only possible way to get it started back in the other direction is to be willing to penalize players, not to try to reward them for playing harder. It's to penalize them for not playing hard. It's like Adam Silver is taking the wrong approach to this whole thing. You cannot, again, the way to make a gold digger love you certainly is not by giving them everything, or forget love you, I should say respect you. Because this is what it's about, is respect you. It's definitely not by continuously to give them what they want. You got to start saying no. And you got to be willing to let them walk away. And it's like, oh, okay, well, if you can't get the money, you don't want to be here, well, cool, go. And this is the same thing with these NBA players. They're all gold diggers. It's like, hey, you don't want to play hard for the money? Cool, we'll shut it down. You don't want to play hard for the money? Cool, we'll deduct it out your paycheck. Because the All-Star game is part of being an NBA player. Playing 82 games is part of being an NBA player. That's what's on the schedule, so that means that's what you signed up for. You want to load manage? Cool, we'll deduct it out your paycheck. Competing is part of what you signed up for. You want to continuously flop? Cool, we'll deduct it out your paycheck immediately. Like immediately once we replay this and we see that you were not touched, and it needs to be a heavy penalty. It doesn't need to be $5,000 or $30,000 for these NBA players. It needs to be a severe. It needs to be a couple of $1 million every time you flop. And if 1 year goes by and getting fined a couple of $1 million for flopping doesn't seem to have help, okay, let's go to $4 million. Oh, okay, so you still doing it? Let's go up to $10 million every time you flop. You not participating in the All-Star game? Okay, it's $2 million. You earned the title of an All-Star. You're certainly gonna want that on your resume for when they go back in the history books and start comparing players. You definitely want to be seen as a great. You definitely want this label on your resume to say I was a 2-time All-Star, a 5-time All-Star, a 10-time All-Star. You definitely want that part of it. But you don't want to play in the games? Okay, we'll dock you $2 million. We'll see how that works 1 year. If it didn't work, following year, anybody who doesn't play hard, and this is going to be, here's where it's going to get really touchy too, because it's going to be on somebody's going to have to evaluate and actually be honest about whether they feel like these players competed or not. So the pendulum may have to swing the complete opposite way. But yeah, you do not get them to play harder by rewarding them, trying to reward them. They got to be penalized, just like in a job. It's like, oh, if you're not living up to the job, you may get fired. If you're not living up to the job, we may demote you. We may cut your hours. Like part of the job is what you signed up, and it goes back to the saying, which is one of my favorite sayings. How you do anything is how you do everything. You know, my dad used to tell me, hey, if you're working at McDonald's, work it like it's the best job in the world until you get something better. And it's not about where you're working. It's about establishing a habit of always doing your best at something. How you do anything is how you do everything. And so, yeah, just like at a job where you will be penalized for not doing your job to the best of your ability, this is the same approach that needs to be taken with the NBA. Anyway, so the last part says you should never have to talk to a player or employee about working harder, only working smarter. And this is facts. But like I said, I just thought that was an appropriate article coming off the week that we've had where, you know, Dwight Howard and Mario Chalmers, you know, talking about being penalized for calling LeBron James the B word because he's not playing defense. You know, knowing that Tyronn Lue had to confront LeBron James about not playing harder and say, hey, if you want to win this, we need you to be better. We need you to play harder. And this is not something that you would have to tell a Michael Jordan, that you would have to tell a Kobe Bryant, that you would have to tell a Magic Johnson or a Larry Bird or the list of players goes on. And this is one of the reasons why I say LeBron James shouldn't even be ranked among the greatest. He shouldn't be ranked among the greatest because he does not share the same competitiveness of the greats. You know, he shouldn't be ranked among the greatest because he does not uphold the standards of the previous greats. And we gonna get ready to wrap this video up. But I do want to say this to you LeBron James fanboys. I want to say this to you guys. LeBron James, you know, it has kind of been the thing for the last several years that, oh, well, LeBron James is the GOAT of longevity, or that LeBron James should be recognized as the GOAT because of his longevity. It says a lot about you if it would actually make you feel good to be recognized as the GOAT for something other than what previous GOATs were recognized for. Let me say that one more time for you LeBron James fanboys. There is something wrong with you that you would actually feel good to be labeled the GOAT for reasons other than what previous GOATs were labeled that for. In other words, previous GOATs got the label because they were believed to be the best basketball player of all time. They were believed to be the best of all time, meaning you put them up against anybody with evenly matched teams, or maybe they have a slightly lesser team, that you can expect them to deliver because their greatness supersedes everything. This is what previous greats were given that GOAT title for. And then you come along and they're so desperate to label you the GOAT that they said, oh, okay, well, yeah, we know he's not actually as good as Michael Jordan ever was, but he's been playing such a long time that at what point do we just have to say he's the GOAT? If you were a real competitor, that wouldn't even be acceptable to you. If that was me, I would be like, hey, don't call me the GOAT when you're trying to make up some reason for me to be the GOAT. Like, I want to be the GOAT by the regular standards. I want to be the GOAT because people actually believe that I'm the best basketball player to ever live. Meaning that there is no other basketball player who's a better basketball player than I am. Not who's been playing the longest, but who's actually a better basketball player. That's the label of GOAT I want. When you start trying to change the label of what a GOAT means just to make me the GOAT, I would feel just like the little brother that the big brother lets win the basketball game. It's like, I know you let me win. I know I'm not as good as you, but you let me win. No, that's not acceptable. I got to go back to the drawing board. I got to practice and practice until I am able to actually beat you fair and square. But that says a lot about LeBron James. That says a lot about Clutch Sports and fanboys. That says everything about you guys. You guys are ridiculous, and so is your king. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think about that article saying that, basically saying, hey, you shouldn't have to tell someone to work harder. Basically saying that, hey, if someone is a competitor, you would never have to tell them that. And sometimes you just have to accept the fact that they're just not a competitor. It's like if you keep having to motivate somebody to work harder, you just have to come to the realization that it's not in them. They're not a competitor like that. And thus we have LeBron James. Thus we have the LeBron James generation. And thus we have why the NBA is in its current state today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, except for you LeBron James fanboys. And I'll see you next time. All right.